I was listening to 1A today on NPR, and they had a story on debt. And in the story, they were talking about that Americans owe, on average, $60,000. Whether that's for a mortgage or student loans or credit cards or combination thereof, $60,000 on average each of us owe. And it just got me thinking, is that our fault? Or is there a problem with society that we aren't making enough to be able to meet the basic necessities of our life, such as housing or education or food or anything that would sustain us, including things like vacations? Everyone deserves a vacation on a regular basis. And it got me thinking to something that John Adams said prior to writing the Declaration of Independence. And it was basically this: that government is there to help people become happy. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. But what is wrong with our government and with society and our institutions, whether they be private or non-profit or corporations, that aren't letting people get to that attainment? People shouldn't have to go into debt to take care of a loved one. People shouldn't have to go into debt to be able to make ends meet. People shouldn't have to go into debt to have affordable housing. People shouldn't have to go into debt to buy a car or to take a vacation or just the basic necessities of life: food, shelter, clothing. What is wrong with modern society that we don't make enough as Americans to be able to live a comfortable life? And it's only gotten worse as time has went on. Back in the 50s and 60s, after the World War II post-generation fought one of the most important wars in history, people were able to afford these necessities. And somewhere along the road, profit became more important than people. And I'm not saying the profit wasn't always important, obviously. But our whole society, especially I think starting back in the 1980s, have shifted towards the me generation, or the yuppie, or the dog-eat-dog world. None of that helps us. People are still trying to come into this country from elsewhere around the world because they believe in the American dream. And whether or not the American dream still exists, I'll leave to you, my dear watcher and viewer. But things should be simpler. Things should be easier. We shouldn't have homelessness. We shouldn't have child labor. We shouldn't have going in debt because of a major surgery. Most other industrialized Western countries don't force these kinds of things as choices on their citizenry. Most countries have socialized healthcare. Most countries have a safety net. And I've talked about this in my previous videos about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I'll include a link below for more information on that particular topic. And I'll probably end up doing a video just on Maslow's hierarchy of needs and why it's important today. But we can't go it alone. We all depend on each other to some degree or another. No man or woman or being is an island. Just look at America's reaction to COVID. It almost seems like a lot of people just didn't care if people died. And I know that's going to sound controversial. But whether or not we help people because it's the right thing to do, or because of our religious or moral convictions, or whatnot, it's the right thing to do because it impacts all of us anyway. If the person next to you is sick because they don't have medicine, or they don't have proper medical treatment or health care, and they're not taking care of themselves for those reasons, you're still going to get a virus from them. If someone goes postal because their life is too difficult, and you end up getting shot at a grocery store or at your synagogue, this impacts everybody. We all need to help each other and to help ourselves. And one of the simplest ways to do that is to make sure that we're all at a simple, sustainable level of humanity, that we all have our basic needs taken care of, so that none of us want for these things. I just don't understand why other people don't agree with me on this particular topic. I'm certainly not the smartest in the bunch. I am fairly educated, but I certainly could be more. And this is something that is very, very passionate to me. Why are we failing as a society in this regard? Why are we failing as individuals? And how do we put pressure on those in power, in whatever capacity, to make these things reality? In modern America, at least, we have a very polarizing political reality. And you have one group that is trying to take away rights and take away benefits and take away things like Medicare and our Social Security that most of us have worked our entire lives for. And you have another party that is trying to go and keep those things and make sure that everyone has affordable housing and that food is cheaper. The juxtaposition is real. The choice that we make is real. Why aren't we voting in our own self-interest? Because our self-interest, guys, is the same as everybody else's. And when our needs are met and everyone else's, we're all going to be happier. We're all going to get along. There's going to be less violence. There's going to be less danger. There's going to be less threats. There's going to be more amicability. And things will just be easier. And we're all going to be able to be happier. It's a simple truth and a simple fact. And it's something I encourage you to put into practice. Take care, and thank you for watching.